Due to popular demand, I'm going to spend the better part of, I believe, the next probably this month. We're in the month of May 2022, and take a little bit of time to discuss a few of the quirky nuances of the coin hobby that'll largely affect secondary market values. And the biggest kind of response of where this is all coming from largely has come from my market videos. There's been a lot of questions about what the CAC company is, which is the um, coin was it coin acceptance certification company. It's taking a graded coin and someone's basically auditing it to make sure that the grade is on par with what's on the label, and they'll either assign a green sticker or a gold sticker on there. I had seen a comment come in through my MMR from the last 24 hours, my Monday market report, and I thought that would be a good kind of talking point. So that's going to be upcoming for this month, along with a few other things. But I've also had a few inquiries about proof-like designations on business strike or circulation quarters, is what I like to call it. So business strike quarters. NGC and PCGS now can assign proof-like designations on these modern coins. Now, we have an example right here of a 1943S steel cent that grades out as a PCGS, NGC, excuse me, Mid-State 66, and it has a PL, which is interesting because, we don't normally associate proof like anything unless it's a Morgan dollar. But things have kind of changed. And we're going to explore exactly what the graders, most specifically NGC and PCGS, are saying about proof-like designations on these more modern coins. How does it affect value? Is this all in reality just a trap for you to send out more coins to the grading companies? We'll see. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Apparently, it's not an easy designation to get, whether you're aiming for it or not. So, yeah, this is going to be quite interesting. Some are under the impression that proof-like designations on these newer coins will greatly enhance the value, and we've actually seen that on what is it? I believe it's the Lincoln Shield cent. I don't know if it's the West Point, the one that they released a couple years ago. If you're able to buy the uncirculated mint sets a few years ago, you received that 2019 West Point Lincoln set. They were grading those with PL. And there were a number of examples at its highest grade level with PL that's sold for $10,000 and up. And then they began to creep down as more of them kind of like came out into the marketplace. But that was probably one of the most extreme examples of where proof-like really can make a huge catapultive type of effect on the market value of a coin. And we're going to go ahead and explore it because this is a new thing that, again, both of the top tier grading companies are implementing on much newer coins. So that's something you need to know. All right, so this 43S, I mean, it's a gorgeous looking coin. I mean, it's kind of hard to distinguish of whether or not it's a proof-like. The coin looks absolutely friggin' immaculate. I've never personally done a lot of research at first glance on how a grading company would exactly designate proof-like surfaces on a business strike coin. Again, business strike coins are made and produced wholly intended to go straight to circulation. So they're more than likely going to have more of the satiny surfaces. Whereas the proof-like surfaces, the die is nice and polished to almost like a mirrored kind of surface on there. They sandblast the devices, so it comes up with really nice frosting. In hindsight, that's what it used to be. I think they've kind of changed it as technology has advanced over time. I know they did the sandblasting thing 20, 30 years ago. So, I'm just kind of throwing that out there as an example of how they prepared the dies for such a thing. So, I mean, sometimes it really helps if we're trying to kind of understand how the grading companies designate PL or proof-like on their coins. It just really is going to be, something that you have to go to the grading company website and read about. And both NGC and PCGS has talked about this on their websites. I'm going to go ahead and kind of read through it real quick so that way you guys understand proof-like most specifically, but there's also DPL, which is deep proof-like, and DIMPLE, which is deep mirror proof-like. Those latter two designations are commonly seen, again, on Morgan dollars. And the Morgan dollars in question are the business strike examples, which has the really nice mirrored fields and all that stuff. It really does look proof-like. NGC uses a numeric grade to succinctly describe a problem-free coin's condition. Certain coins, however, require a more nuanced description of their condition and appearance. For these coins, NGC graders follow the numeric grade with a designation often called a strike character. Most circulation issue coins have minimally reflective fields, even in mid-state grades, okay, which makes sense. When a circulation issue coin's fields exhibit a higher than normal degree of reflectivity, the coin is said to be proof-like, or PL, because it is reminiscent of a proof coin. If the fields are deeply mirrored, the coin is said to be deep proof-like, or DPL. NGC uses the PL or DPL modifiers after a mid-state coin's numeric grade when applicable. These designations indicate only the degree of reflectivity evident in a coin's fields and make no implication as to other qualities associated with proof coins, such as frosted devices and superior sharpness. And then it goes on to talk about Morgan dollars a little bit. In 2017, for example, numismatists were excited to discover that some of the new palladium eagles produced by the U.S. Mint had proof-like surfaces. And then there's also some world coins. Here's some China crested ibis coins that had some PL surfaces. And then it goes on to talk about those particular examples from China. NGC applies the PL and DPL designations automatically to qualified coins at the same time of grading at no additional cost. So what they'll do is they'll accept the coin in when it's time to review the submission for grading. They actually already take into consideration PL surfaces on the coin. And if it's a case that it qualifies for that, they're going to ahead and make note of it, so that way when they go to the process of printing the labels and getting these things packaged, it'll be printed right on the label. NGC's use of DPL is equivalent to the DIMPLE designations used by some other grading services. Proof-like and DPL may be used on the NGC label in conjunction with other modifiers, including, okay, and then here's a short list of some of the other modifiers. So full steps, which we could automatically assume that they will assign proof-like on Jefferson nickels. There's also brown, and full red, which also means that they'll do a lot of the copper coins. Full bands on Mercury dimes, full head on Standing Liberty quarters, and full torch on the Roosevelt dimes. The NGC census reports populations for coins with no strike character, the PL strike character and DPL strike character on separate lines. Coins with a combination of the strike characteristics, such as brown, proof-like, are also reported on separate lines. So through NGC's census, it's going to become very, very crowded, very complex. You need to know exactly, what a brown PL means when you come to that particular line on the population report. For a complete list of how strike characters appear on the NGC certification label and in the NGC census, click here. Well, you guys can't click here, but if you go on their website, you can. And then finally, NGC notes the degree of reflectivity is imparted on a coin at the time it is struck. Professional conservation by NCS cannot change the degree of reflectivity. That's important. You can't manipulate that unless the underlying reflectivity is obscured by haze, residue, or other contaminants. Amateur and artificial attempts to enhance a coin's reflectivity may result in the coin being considered altered surfaces or clean. So do not attempt to do any of that stuff where you're going to try and get a super clean, slick surface to get PL designation. It's not worth it. Okay, so PCGS. Let's see here. Here's PCGS. I knew I would get there eventually. So it's going to read a lot like the same. However, the big difference is PCGS got into the game a lot later. NGC's been doing the PL designation on modern coins for quite some time. I would say probably 10 years or longer. Okay, so we're going to read just a little section where it says what are the standards for a proof-like coin on the PCGS website. You can see the URL up here if you wanted to type that in so that way you could read the whole thing for yourself. You can. PCGS has set a standard for designating a given coin as proof-like or PL. These grading standards are the following. There must be a clear reflection in the fields on both sides of the coin as viewed from 2 to 4 inches away. Cloudiness or striations may impede the reflectivity on eligible proof-like coins. And then finally, historically, the PL designation was awarded only to qualifying Morgan dollars. However, as of July 1st, 2019, which was less than 3 years ago, so they're new to the game, PCGS began bestowing the PL designation to all qualifying Mint-State United States and World coins, metals, and tokens regardless of type. So it's branched out all across the spectrum. Doesn't matter how old the type coin is, but we're seeing a lot more PL designations through PCGS, especially on much newer coins. All right, so that's kind of like, I mean, as you can see, the parallels are very, very similar from NGC to PCGS. Again, reflectivity. If you guys have questions about that, really, just take a piece of paper with any sort of typed print on there and, see if you could read it off of the coin. All right, that's always been one of those good things to use as a guide on Morgan dollars. You could do the same on much newer coins. So that's something to keep in mind to help you out a little bit to test the reflectivity. If you can't read the type that is reflecting off of the coin to the sheet of paper with the print on it, then obviously it's not going to earn any PL or have any sort of chance at earning a PL designation. All right, let's talk a little bit about coins that are currently out in the marketplace. We're going to focus a little bit more on eBay. Again, NGC's been doing the PL designation for quite some time now. Now, it's a very tough designation to earn on a coin grade. As you can see, there are only 50 examples, and I typed in NGC PL. All right, and that seems to be the best kind of like keyword search to find any of the PL designated coins on eBay that are currently live. All right, but you can tell, just looking at the very first coin, a 1953D, which is a very common date Lincoln wheat cent, grades NGC Mid-State 64 red brown. It's not even a full red, and it does earn a PL. A Mid-State 64 red brown without the proof-like designation on a 53D is essentially a $10 coin. It's basically, I'm not going to say worthless, but it doesn't even cover the submission fee or cost of sending that out to NGC. So, as you can tell, they're asking $500 or best offer. Obviously, it's still sitting here. It hasn't sold, but it's worth mentioning that this one does have PL. If we wanted to click into the coin, so some of you folks can actually see the slab and the PL designator, well, this one doesn't even say it. So, yeah, that's my bad right there, guys. So this is just speculative, kind of like, yeah, I'm going to throw this coin up here and say, yeah, it's proof-like, when it doesn't say it on the coin slab label. It is therefore not a proof-like coin. That is just simply someone's opinion. Now, there are a number of coins. Here's a 2019 West Point Unk Lincoln set. The pictures are really dark, but this one really does say, well, it doesn't even say proof-like. So, again, do not fall for the trap of trying to buy a coin that someone says is proof-like, but yet is not mentioned on the label. However, here's one right here, a 2021 D Lincoln Shield set that obviously has and says PL right on the label. Mid-State 65 Red PL. This is from the 14 coin uncirculated set, aka mid-set. It's the first release, which means it was received in, I believe, through the first, was it 21 to 30 days, something like that. And this individual is trying to get $45 for the coin. You know, a lot of what I've seen on eBay so far is just a lot of kind of mid-tier type of grades. And if it doesn't have PL on the slab label, it's going to be a tough sell. Like this 56 here, the American Rare coin typed in PL, and it has nothing to do with the coin because it doesn't say PL on the slab label. And, you know, again, this is something to keep an eye out for. Even in 1922, that grade's good for, put PL, but that really means plain. This is a really great example. The 43S Lincoln Steel set has PL right on the label as a 66. Furthermore, it's a double die obverse FS101. And, you know, maybe this is probably not out of the realm of a realistic amount of price to start out at, $2,000. You know, it could possibly be a coin worth about $1,000 with PL, whereas non-PL mid-state 66s are probably worth a few $100. So, again, that's quite interesting. Here's another 2019 W. And I remember NGC grading quite a few of the 2019 West Point Unk bonus coins with PL. Like they assigned quite a few of them. The grade that you want for that particular coin is going to be mid-state 70. There are a number of those out there in the market, or there was, with PL designation. Those are the coins that sold at the time of release for roughly $10,000, maybe slightly above that. And then again, they began to creep down as more of them entered the marketplace. They got down to as far as, I believe, $3,000 to $4,000 at its bottom. But, you know, let's see. I mean, there's a number of PL coins in here. A lot of the Lincoln Shield cents. Here's actually, interesting enough, an 1888 Indian head cent. This one is a mid-state 65 red-brown, and it does have PL. The question is it worth the $5,700 that you see here? It could be. That is a really, really high grade for that coin. In spite of the fact that it's not a full red example, it is a PL, and it is a top pop. It is the only one graded with a PL designation. So, yeah, there is probably some merit to the proof-like designation through NGC on specific coins. Maybe not necessarily on the new stuff, but yeah, look at this. Here's a mid-state 68 red 2011 D Lincoln Shield that also has a PL. I could see it right there in the photographic image. $1,000, which is a really good amount of cash for that one. The older you get in the Shield series, which it's not a very deep series to begin with, it goes all the way from 2010 to 2022 as of right now. The older you get to like 2010, 11, and 12, they are incredibly rare with PL. Like for instance, here's a 69 red PL. They're asking $2,500. It hasn't sold yet, but you know, it's interesting to see, you know, how much people claim the coins are worth. Here's another interesting one. Here's a $1 gold princess coin, 1873. Mid-State 63 PL through NGC, $3,500. You know, but yeah, we're just gonna kind of look at a few coins here. It's a 98. Wow, that's crazy. 1998 D Lincoln Memorial, Mid-State 68 red. See if this one really does have a PL or yeah, it does. $500. Again, that's probably more tailored for a registry set, and I think we might see at some point later on down the line when people are a little bit more privy and receptive to proof-like designations, they're going to want to add proof-like coins to the registry set. That's just going to be a matter of when, not if, because it is going to happen, and I think these PL coins are going to add a tremendous amount of points to a registry set at the highest grades. Here's another 2019, this time a P-Mint. This one is a 68 proof-like. It's also cross-certified with MAC, who does a lot of... they're similar to CAC, only they do a lot more of the more modern stuff. So you could send them off to a company called MAC. They could throw a little sticker on there. They'll put Solo as in being like the Solo finest, things like that. And those will enhance the value of the coins. Now, crazy enough, I was talking about the Mid-State 70 red PLs of the 2019 West Points. Here's one. However, this one is the first day of issue. Again, whatever your thoughts are on first strike, first releases, first day of issue, here's one right here at $25,000 or best offer. I mean, it's anybody's guess if and when this will sell. But it's also worth noting that it's a new listing as well. That's brand spanking new. They just posted this up here. But yeah, check that out. The prices are all over the place. It seems like the coins that benefit the most are going to be kind of like your oldest coins. Not necessarily like brand new. Like if you went and got rolls of 2022 Lincolns and you want PLs on them, more than likely it's going to be a hard sell, even at the highest grade level because they're just too modern. Okay, it's kind of like the expectancy when it comes to the craftsmanship of our more modern coins than it is the case. But yeah, check that out. Yeah, it's just all over the place. I mean, there is a lot of lower valued coins as well, but the mid-tier, like a Mid-State 67 2015 D Lincoln, when, you could possibly hit $250 for a coin like that. Yeah, there is a lot of merit to PL designation. But also don't put all your eggs in one basket when you want to try and, obtain some of these grades. It's really not that easy. So within the last 90 days, there are 37 known sales of NGC proof-like. Let's go ahead and just kind of swap it here so that way you guys can get kind of like a realistic look at the grades. Like for instance, the first coin that you see there, it sold for $550, is actually a 2019 West Point. However, it is an NGC proof 70, so that's a proof 70. It's not a mid-state. And I guess there's also a Mid-State 69 proof-like Unk that's sold as well in the same listing. Let's go ahead and take a look at it right here. I don't personally like this listing because they're trying to cram way too much into the subject line. This is all kind of confusing until you click into it. So they're selling a Perfect 70 2019 West Point W Lincoln, and that one's a Perfect 70. There is also a what is that? That's same coin, I guess. No, reverse proof. Yeah, there's a reverse proof in there as well. So all three coins. And there's also a 2019 West Point Mid-State 69 red PL. It's not a 70, however, but it is the first day of issue. And I think a lot of the value is tied up into that one particular coin because the other two coins are really easy to find in proof 70 for around $100. So this particular one coin here is probably $200 to $300 as it sits. Again, a lot of the value would be the mid-state version in a mid-state 70 red PL. Okay, that's where it's going to get incredibly expensive. The populations are low on it. But yeah, that's worth noting right there. That's interesting. All right, let's see. Any other notable PLs? Nah, not really. Here's another mid-state 69. Oh, I might be wrong. Mid-state 69 PL. Best offer, probably 150. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not 200 to 300 like I thought it was. Yeah, it won't be the first time I made a mistake on that. But here's another one here. Mid-state 69. First day of issue, 130. All right, that was back in March 7th. But yeah, as you can see, based off of realized sales within the last 90 days, there's really nothing that's going to entice you to want to get PL on a lot of the newer coins, because if they don't sell, it's not going to mean anything. So, this is definitely worth noting. I mean, if you did get a coin that is PL, maybe eBay is not the right site to sell such a coin. Maybe Great Collections or some other auction site online would be a much better option to sell things like this. Otherwise, you could just post it up on eBay and just let it sit with a very high asking price. But there's nothing to indicate any sort of sales of proof-like, especially not today. 3 years ago, that was the case because the 2019 West Point Lincolns were like all the rage in proof-like. Considering that a few of the coins did hit that magical 5-figure amount of money. So, there is that. PCGS, there's really nothing worth noting. There's nothing as far as realized sales. There's a 2019 D Lincoln that is an actually mid-state 67 red PL. They're just not interested in serving up a lot of proof-like designations on the much newer coins. It's just something you don't see a lot of coming from PCGS, even though they've implemented it as part of their grading package back in 2019. There's really not a whole lot of concrete evidence of sales to indicate that PCGS PLs are even a thing on the internet right as of right now. That might change in the future. We'll see, but there you go. That's proof-like designations on new coins, guys. Hopefully, I was able to kind of like hit a few of the target areas that have concerned you regarding that. Again, do not put all your eggs in one basket and then throw all your chips on the table and expect to get these designations in hoping for a big return on your investment. As of right now, it's just not going to happen. As of right now, it's more so a gimmick than it is actually something that has any credence whatsoever in the grading scape. So again, heed with caution. Take it with a grain of salt. Again, the PLs and DPLs and DMPLs are still better kind of like pursued in the Morgan Dollar series, if that's your thing. But that's why I wanted to talk about proof-like designations on graded coins, new graded coins, however. That's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for tuning in on this video. It sure was a pleasure. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next coin video. So long.